Hello and welcome to the Thanksgiving in America episode of the Heart of Markness podcast, otherwise known as episode 84, 84. Today's topic is Led Zeppelin in Vancouver, British Columbia, March 19th, 1975. This is one of the fun shows. Well, most of the 75 tour is pretty fun. One thing I've noticed, because I've done a lot of digging, because I listen to a lot of you've heard me listen to shows. I'm like, 75 tour sucks. And then I listen to it and go, oh, that actually wasn't that bad. And 77 tour sucks. And I listen to it and go, oh, I can see why people like this. Always. Nebworth, this kind of sucks. Oh, that wasn't that bad. I'm always doing that. Always. And I was berating myself because it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then I spent some time online looking through forums that have been around for, 15, 20 years. And in looking at this show in particular, and I lied. On the March 24th 75 soundboard that just came out recently, that everybody is furiously masturbating over. And in my mind, I listened to it and I'm like, that show's not that great. I mean, it's fine, but it's nothing special. And people are like, it's the best thing ever. Oh, Jimmy the improvisational wizard. And I was looking through the forums to previous incarnations of this show, audience recordings and whatnot. And the ones from like 2004, 2005, the comments are all kind of what I think. It's like, this is not a great night. Page, man, another drunk night. Tune your fucking guitar. Stuff like that. And that's kind of where I'm at. And there's just been... I don't know if because more time has passed and we're 4.5 decades away from when it happened, that the glasses have become a little, more rose-tinted. Or if there's just a greater tolerance, or not even tolerance, that's a bad word, a greater appreciation for the overall genius of Zeppelin, whereas, 15 years ago, we were 15 years closer to the event and feeling a little more personal with it, and then a little more, or if Zeppelin fans, which are Zeppelin critics, were just more supremely asshole-ish back then. I don't know. But, what's that have to do with March 19th, 1975? Well, it bleeds over into it. Because that 24th, some people have asked me, it's like, oh, you're going to do the new soundboard? I was gonna, but then I said, I'm going to do a show that I like better. I prefer the Pacific Northwest shows from the 75 tour over the LA run. The LA run has its charm, for sure. And it has my favorite Over the Hills and Far Away from the tour, which is the 27th. But the Pacific Northwest run with March 21st, remember Deus Ex Machina, is among my favorite of that tour. That and the beginning of the tour in New York, the New York run in early February. And that live levy from January in Brussels. Good stuff. Good show. So, for tonight, we are going to be listening to March 19th, 1975, Vancouver, British Columbia. And it is the Grame remaster. And you're going to like it. You will like it. And, I mean, it's a nice standard 75 show. They kind of did a little ping pong up and down the coast in March, because they went from March 10th in San Diego, down at the bottom of California by Mexico, then Long Beach for the 11th and 12th, San Diego for the 14th, bopping up to Seattle for the 17th of March, and then from Seattle to BC, in Vancouver on 19th and 20th, dropping back down to Seattle for the 21st, which is the Deus Ex Machina show, and then down to LA for the Forum for the 24th, 25th, and 27th of March, which has been very well documented in Mike Millard tapes, And then they're on hiatus until they get to Earl's Court in May. And then that's it, other than one little informal jam on the 10th of December on the island of Jersey. I would love to have that tape. Then it's the 77 tour. So that's what I'm going for. But anyway, how about some music, eh? Yes. Music is a good idea, and it's a very, very good thing. Okay, y'all. We're going to play Over the Hills and Far Away, because I like the 75 versions, and it's a good song, and it's Led Zeppelin, and here's what I do. For the guitar solo, most of the time, I just listen to Bonzo and Jonesy, because I love it, because bum 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 bum. I love it. It's just so good, and Jimmy's stuff is more... Over the Hills and Far Away is not the song where it's like he has the best solos. It's an odd... I used to know, I think it's one of the modes. I can't remember what mode it is that he's playing in, if that's indeed the case. I used to know back when I knew my theory. But it's pretty much the same solo. Ish. There's not a lot of variance, and there's not like a definitive, dude, you got to hear this Over the Hills and Far Away. But listen to Jonesy and Bonzo, because that's where the juice is. That's where the deliciousness is Jonesy and Bonzo during the solo. It is tight, but loose, and you will like it. You will like it. All right, my friends, we do Over the Hills and Far Away, March 19th, 1975. Led Zeppelin, perhaps you've heard of them. They're an indie band. Here we go.
I need, maybe more than enough. Oh, darling, 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 walk a while with me. Oh, you've got so much, I really need so much. I have to have so much. Many times I've gazed along the open road. You really ought to know. Ooh, yes. Baby, baby, yes. I know what you do. I know you should do. I know what you do. I know what you do. Yeah. And how is Vancouver? Is it full of beans? Well, as you might be aware that, I beg your pardon? You might be aware that in the last 18 months we've been quite busy doing various little things, keeping ourselves clean and well shaven and throwing away our beards and things. And we may even managed to get an album together called Physical Graffiti. And this album carries a lot of varied material, which some of you might be aware of. We're going to do some of this stuff tonight, and this is the first piece. It has its roots well and truly way, 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 way back in the past. It goes like this.
And we're not gonna hear it. Why'd you do that, Mark? I don't know. I kept that in because it's just a little piece of atmosphere. I realized that I cut out the plantations, which is the between song banter Robert Plant does, almost all the time, and just go right into like, hey, wasn't that great? But I think I might keep them in now and again, just to give a little feeling for the vibe of the show, not just the musical vibe, but the overall atmospheric mood. And whatever. If you guys, pitchforks and torches about it, then I won't do it. But you're pretty compliant so far, for which I am grateful. And I endeavor to not waste much more of your time wandering and meandering. Although some of you said you like my meanderings, which makes me happy. Because I like to meander, because it's all I know how to do. And let's see. Led Zeppelin, eh? Good stuff, eh? I am going to, I think I said this last time, but I also don't recall. I am going to probably, by the new year, or for the new year, on the new year, I am going to split the podcasts up into the Heart of Markness Led Zeppelin podcast. It'll be Zeppelin and Zeppelin only, Zeppelin related only, like it was before the pandemic when I started doing the bonus episodes. And I'm going to split the bonus episodes off into a separate live classic rock podcast that I may keep as the Heart of Markness Classic Rock podcast, or I may call something else. But it'll be a separate podcast, and you'll have to subscribe to both if you want both. And if you just want one, subscribe to one. Or if you don't want any, then what are you doing here? So there's a little bit of an update there. What else am I going to do? What else? I started playing guitar again, which is nice. One of these days I'll bring it to the up to the mic here and fuck around a little, jokingly. I mean, really, not like, listen to my song, you fucks, you are my prisoners, but just a little bit of, diddle diddle. You can get to hear me diddle. You want to hear me diddle? I'll diddle for you. All right. Sorry. Let's move ahead, shall we? What shall we play now? Oh, you know what? Let me read you the set list for this show. in case you want to grab it. You will be able to grab this show, the entire concert, not just the ones I use for the podcast, not just the songs I use for the podcast, at heartofmarkness.com. So, here's what you want. It's it's the standard 1975 set list. It is Rock and Roll, Sick Again, Over the Hills and Far Away, In My Time of Dying, which is the song they were going to go into, Rain Song remains the same, Cashmere, No Quarter, Trampled Underfoot, Moby Dick, 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 Dazed and Confused, Stairway to Heaven, Whole Lotta Love, with an encore of Black Dog. Now, this is a remaster of the Empress Valley Snow Jobs disc by Grame. And so it's a soundboard, and the remaster involved the following. I'm just reading straight from the notes. Caveat emptor. The original mix with slight compression. A compressed and EQ'd feed of the original mix to an impulse of the ambiance of an onstage environment. What that means is just to take the dryness and flatness and sterility of the soundboard and run it through a digital processor to make it sound give a little more atmosphere so it doesn't sound so flat and two-dimensional. Now, if that's not your bag, then you don't want this recording. But if it is your bag, then you do. Feed to an impulse of the ambience of a Japanese concert hall. The low end and high end is reduced on this feed. 2 and 3, which are the two feeds, are then added to 1, which is the original mix with slight compression, and then slightly compressed to glue the whole thing together. Went easy on the limiting to retain dynamics. That means it's not brick-walled. Basically, he created 3 different mixes of the show. Not mixes, but mixes in as much as equalized and processed versions, and then melded them together into one. Cool beans. I like the sound of it a lot. It brings it a little more to life and makes it a little friendlier, because that's the only problem with the dry soundboard recordings is that they're dry. And as evidenced in the 1980 tour, especially when Jimmy and or the rest of the band are not at their peak. In 1980, Jimmy was not at his peak performance-wise. And having a dry, ambiance-less feed of that playing did him no favors. So adding a little audience ambience where possible, tastefully, is A-OK in my book. It makes the experience better. And if you want it, again, you can download it at heartofmarkness.com. And now let's listen to another song, shall we? Let's. We're going to go vanilla with this, because I'm going to play Stairway. And the reason I'm playing Stairway is typically Jimmy's 1975 solos for Stairway are great. Stairway is a good song in 75. Robert isn't sick of it yet. Although in 75 is kind of the transition year where they go from being hippie, let's commune with the ocean and relate to our audience, from that vibe to the behold the legend that is Led Zeppelin, gaze upon, which is the 77 tour. So 75 is kind of the merge of that, where they realize, and Robert even mentioned it in his talks, shaved off our beards and the hippie, that where they've become a machine. The tour, the set list is the same, almost the same, night to night, with some minor differences. A lot of the improvisational cover songs and things like that, old time rock and roll, is gone. The medleys are gone and replaced with more funk and theremin and spaced out sections or just straight ahead, a whole lot of love goes from being 35 minutes long to being, 9 minutes long or 7 minutes long. And so it's a sea change. It's a different band. And there's still enough of the old band in 75 that every once in a while, a couple times they did Since I've Been Loving You, and It Shines or things like that. But by 77, they're a completely different band, in my opinion. All right, since nobody gives a shit about my opinion, and it doesn't matter anyways because it's an opinion, I'm going to shut up, finally, and let you listen to Stairway to Heaven. Great solo from Jimmy. And, I mean, the thing is, it's so ubiquitous, and we've heard it so many times, it's hard to appreciate it on its own as just, a song. And it's a marvelous, marvelous creation. So enjoy. I'll be back shortly.
All that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. And when she gets there, she knows if the stars are all closed, with a word she can get what she came for. She's buying a stairway to heaven. There's a sign on the wall, but she wants to be sure, 'cause sometimes words have two meanings. In a tree by the brook, there's a songbird that sings. Sometimes all of our thoughts are misgiven. Do you know what I'm talking about, people? Oh, and it makes me wonder, there's a feeling I get when I look to the west, and my spirit is crying for leaving. In my thoughts I have seen rings of smoke through the trees, and the voices of those who stand looking. Sometimes I can hear them. And it's whispered that soon, if we all call it true, then the piper will lead us to reason, and a new day will dawn for those who stand long and the forests will echo with laughter. Does anybody remember laughter? But I got some good news, people. Now listen. If there's a bus stop in your hedgerow, don't be alarmed. It's just a spring clean for the May Queen. Yes, there are two paths you can go by, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road you're on. I hope so. Vancouver, I see everybody smiling. Well, that's what we came for, so good night.
What a lovely song. I like it. I like 75, most 75 Stairways. Perfect tight but loose from Jimmy. He's still in command of the instrument. And I like the tone and everything. Plus, it's Stairway. I mean, come on, man. How can you not like Stairway? I hope you liked Stairway. 'Cause I'm buying a stairway to heaven. Good song. Completely unlike any other Zeppelin song. And, I have to wonder if they did write it for commercial reasons. If it was just like, hey, we need to come up with something that's going to last forever and feed us for the rest of our lives. I doubt it, because you can hear on bootlegs the progression of the song as it evolved. But, man, it certainly wasn't a bad thing, right? So let's get through. Here's the boilerplate stuff that I will get through as fast as possible, because it's just boilerplate. And if you listen to this podcast, you hear it all the time. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, all under the name Heart of Markness. You can also communicate with me through any of those channels. The Facebook group, you have to ask to join, but I will say yes. It's just a press of a button, and then you're in with about 100 folks who are wonderful, very nice, very knowledgeable, and share a love of Led Zeppelin and classic rock just like you. So, avail yourself of those. And I am also on heartofmarkness.com, which is my website. It's where I post the podcasts, and most importantly, post the links to the complete shows, like I mentioned earlier. You will be able to download this complete show for free, if you wanna. And that is thanks to the patrons of the Heart of Markness, the Titans upon whose shoulders rests this podcast. And if you like what I do, and you're of a mind to, and an ability for, you are invited to go to patreon.com/heartofmarkness and look into becoming a patron. Otherwise, enjoy listening. I appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Here are the aforementioned Titans upon whose shoulders this podcast rests. And we offer them a Laurel and Hardy handshake and deep thanks on this day of Thanksgiving. So thank you very much and deeply and sincerely to Chris, Michael, Rob from Melbourne, Australia, Wayne, Brad, Danielle, Tracy, David, Peter, Mark, Other David, Bonzo Billy, and Mimo. Shout out to Avi of the Raven Avatar and Jeremy and Evan, who are the patrons in spirit and in kind. So blessings be upon you all, and thank you, thank you, thank you. And now back to our show. See, that wasn't bad, was it? Quick and painless. If you like what I do, and you don't want to give me money, which is cool, please consider leaving a review on whatever podcast platform you're on. It legitimately helps. And or share it with your friends. If I'm on Twitter and we're Twitter friends and the podcast comes up, consider retweeting in addition to liking. Liking is great. Retweeting gets the podcast in front of your friends in addition to mine. And then there may be somebody out there that'll go, holy shit, a Led Zeppelin live podcast. Who knew? All right, back to our show again. I'm going to zip this up with one of those earlier mentioned short form whole lot of loves. And I'm playing this because they basically do the crunge, which they did a lot in 75, but they basically do the whole song, and it is tight, and I love it. I love Funky Zepp. Bonzo and Jonesy are just the best at it, and Jimmy is too when he's on beam, and he is tonight. And one thing about this whole lot of love is vocally, it mirrors very closely the Live Aid performance of Whole Lotta Love. In many ways, Robert sings the same things at the same places in the same way. And, I mean, granted, he may do that through many of the tours because, I mean, the short form Whole Lotta Love is the short form Whole Lotta Love. But it's almost verbatim. And I don't know if that's because that's, just how he did it, or if, a coincidence, or if when they did the Live Aid reunion, they just had this particular tape and they're like, learn how to play this to Tony Thompson and the drummer for that reunion, in addition to Phil Collins, who did a smashing job. In any case, that's just something that occurred to me. Your mileage may vary. And now, my friends, a very funky, funky whole lot to love. Enjoy!
Woo, yeah, yeah. You need cool overnight cool. I'm gonna send you back to school. Way down inside, woman, you need love. I'm gonna give you my love. I'm gonna give you my love. Oh, wow, wow, love. Wow, wow, love. Wow, wow, love. You've been loving, baby, I've been loving. Real good times, I've been disturbing. Way down inside, woman, you need love. I'm gonna give you every inch of my love. I'm gonna give you my love. Oh, wow, wow, love. Wow, wow, love. Wow, wow, love. I want to tell you about my good friend. Oh, I ain't disclosing no names, but she sure is a good friend. And I don't wish she comes from, but she won't come again. And I ain't gonna, ooh. Open up a newspaper and what do I see? See my girl looking at me. Oh, and when she walks, she walks. People, when she talks, she talks. And when she looks me in the eye, she's my baby, Lord, let me tell you, I ain't. I'm just trying to find the bridge. Has anybody seen the bridge? Has anybody seen the bridge? I can't find the bridge. I can't find the bridge. Has anybody seen the bridge? Where's that confounded bridge? Gonna make you cool. Our child said the way you swing, gonna make you burn, gonna make you sting. Our child, when you walk that way, watch your honey drip, I can't keep away. Get my feel. As a child, burn. all through my head. Ah, 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 ah. Gonna be I don't know, but I've been told a big leg woman ain't got no soul. Make me a happy man. Ah, 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 ah. Vancouver, British Columbia. People of the realm, Good night.
People of the realm, good night. What a great way to end the show. What a great way to end the episode. Well, today is Thanksgiving Day here in the United States of America, and I have some Thanksgiving to get to. So thank you, and thank you. Even me, even you. It means a lot to me that this podcast exists and that people listen to it. I love it, and by extension, I love you for listening to it. Thank you very, very much. I hope you enjoy today, whatever day it is you're listening to this, wherever you are and whoever you are. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and I will be back with a classic rock over the weekend. Adios, friends, and again, truly, thank you.